Hello guys, we are going to say goodbye to the year of the snake soon for about like 2 or 3 days. So I decided to end this year with a very moving book. So this book is called The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. So I heard that this book is very famous. So my dad bought it from his company back to the house so that I could read the book. So at first I thought this book is about like space or something about the universe, but when I read the book, it is actually about a girl who has cancer. So this girl is Hazel and she lives with her parents in Indiana. So she has like this type of cancer that it destroys your lung, and the cancer affects her lung pretty badly, and her lungs often are filled with fluid. So she needs to go to the doctor 2 or 3 times per month to suck off the fluid out of her lungs. So it is a pretty hard time for her, and she has to fight with cancer every day. So her parents decided to told her to go to this children with cancer support group. So this group often meet like 1 or 2 times per week in a church near Hazel's home. So when she go to the support group, she said that the group is pretty boring because they just sit in circles and then they talk about they introduce themselves to each other, and then they said that, oh, I have this type of cancer and now I'm doing pretty well and I wish that I could fight off my cancer and all the things like that. So Hazel said that it was pretty boring, and she actually like make a few friends at that group. So her first friend is Isaac, and he has eye cancer. So in a few months time, he is going to get a surgery on his eye to remove both of his eyes so that he could be cancer free. So another friend that Hazel make is called Augustus. So his full name is Augustus Waters, and he's pretty handsome with the blue eyes and blonde hair. So he's pretty much every girl's dream boyfriend. So he's very attractive. And Augustus, he has bone cancer and it affects his leg, so he needs to have one of his leg amputated. So he is wearing a fake leg. So at first sight, Hazel is into Augustus because Augustus is pretty handsome. And then at the end of the section, they meet outside the church, and then Hazel and Augustus actually get to know about each other, and then they talk a lot. So Augustus invites Hazel to go back to his house and then watch a movie and have dinner with his family. And when Hazel arrives at Augustus' house, his family is very friendly towards Hazel. And then they have a pretty good dinner together, and then they ended up watching a movie in the basement with Augustus. So Hazel now started to get to know Augustus even more, and then they become the best friend. So one day, they decided to exchange some books together. Hazel will give Augustus this book to read, and then Augustus will give back his book for Hazel to read. So they begin to like each other a bit, and they are now boyfriend and girlfriend. So one day Hazel called Augustus and talk with him about the book that she read recently, and the author of that book is Mr. Peter Van Houten. So I will call him Peter for short. So Peter is a very famous author, and he wrote a very famous book, but that book doesn't have an ending. Like it ends with all the characters. It doesn't have a very good ending. So Hazel is pretty confused, and she wanted to directly ask the author about the ending of the book. So she decided to wrote to the author an email asking him about the ending of the book, and the author never read Hazel's email, so she is very frustrated. And Augustus tried to email the author for Hazel, and the author replied with a very long email. He said that they could meet him in Amsterdam, and he will answer all of the question that Hazel asked him. So they decided to book a trip to go on Amsterdam. But Hazel family is in very, like, is in debt because they have to put off the money for her cancer. So they didn't have any money left for Hazel to go to Amsterdam. So each kid with cancer, they have like this thing called wish. So each of them has only one wish. So they could spend their wish on like everything they like, maybe go on a trip or maybe do anything they like, but they only have one wish. So Hazel have already take her wish on her 13th birthday because she wanted to go to Disneyland, and then she just wasted her one and only wish. So now she doesn't have any wish left, and her family doesn't have any money for her to go to Amsterdam. So she's very sad. So she called Augustus, telling him that she cannot go because her family doesn't have enough money for her to go to Amsterdam. But Augustus said that he hasn't spent his wish yet, so he would spend his wish on Hazel, and he has a pretty good suggestion that they go on Amsterdam together. So Hazel and her mom and Augustus decided to go to Amsterdam together. So on the next morning, they arrived to Augustus' house, and then Hazel and her mom hear that Augustus and his family is having like a talk, so they didn't want to interrupt him, so they decided to wait outside in the car. When Augustus showed up, they drove to the airport and then they fly to Amsterdam. So they go right to their hotel and then they take some rest. And that night, Augustus and Hazel have a pretty good dinner in a very fancy restaurant. All of the food was paid by Mr. Peter Van Houten. So the next morning, Hazel and Augustus showed up at the author's house. And then when they entered the house, the author is not pretty friendly, and he ended up scolding at the two teenagers because he said that they were annoying and they disrupt him from his morning. So he's not that kind of friendly, and when Hazel asked him about the ending of the novel, he just replied something that is not very related to the novel. So Hazel started to get very angry, and then she left the house. So Augustus and Hazel left the author's house, and then they swear that they would never come back again. So his assistant ran out to apologize to the two teenagers, and she said that the author recently he was sick, so he was not in the mood for any visitor. So the assistant ended up taking Hazel and Augustus to a nearby museum. So their Amsterdam trip ended it is not bad, but it is not good, so pretty normal. So when they returned back to Indiana, Hazel found out that Augustus' cancer was worse. So Augustus, he has like this bone cancer that will affect like his whole body. So the cancer got worse, and Augustus now he can't walk on his own. He can't do anything on his own. So he is on a wheelchair right now, and he just lie down all day. He can't even stand. He can't even walk. So his cancer got worse day by day, and he died shortly after the trip. So Hazel is pretty sad, but her friend Isaac told Hazel that Augustus, before he died, he actually writes like pretty long letters for Hazel, but the letter got lost somewhere. But then Hazel realized that Augustus wanted to make up the ending of the book for Hazel, because the author he don't want to reply to Hazel's question about the ending of the book. So Augustus decided to write an ending of the book by himself. But he realized that he doesn't have anything to write, and he is not a good writer, so he decided to write to the author himself to persuade the author to write an ending for Hazel. So when the story ends, when Hazel finished reading Augustus' letter. So this story is pretty sad and moving. It shows me how people with cancer is fighting with cancer every day in order to live their fullest lives. So I rate this book a 10 out of 10. It is very emotional, and I recommend this book for you guys to read. So it is the end of this video. I hope you guys like the video. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye.